Ladies, listen up. The moment you start acting like a queen, the wrong man will either step up or step out. And guess what? When he walks away, don't chase, don't beg, don't cry. Queens do not weep over peasants. A queen never begs for love. She commands it with her presence, her energy, her self-respect. The moment you start chasing a man, pleading for his attention, questioning your worth because he can't see it, you have already lost. The moment you say, why won't he love me? What did I do wrong? Maybe if I change, he'll stay. You have stepped out of your throne and kneeled before someone unworthy. A queen never kneels for a man who cannot see her value. Think about it. Have you ever seen a diamond begging someone to recognize its shine? No, it just sits there, radiant, priceless, unmoved. And the people who truly understand its worth, they don't question it. They don't negotiate it. They don't toss it aside like cheap glass. They desire it, they chase it, they cherish it. You, my dear, are that diamond. But the moment you start running after a man, convincing him, proving yourself, showing up where he is, double texting, accepting breadcrumbs of affection, you are no longer the diamond. You become the cheap trinket he can pick up and throw away whenever he pleases. Look around. You've seen it happen. The girl who keeps calling even though he hasn't replied in days. The woman who lowers her standards because she's afraid of being alone. The one who tolerates disrespect because she thinks, at least he's still here. But let me tell you something. If you have to beg for his love, you don't have it. If you have to constantly remind him of your worth, he doesn't deserve you. A queen does not force a man to see what is already evident. Imagine walking into a luxury store, let's say Chanel, Louis Vuitton, or a high-end jewelry shop. Do they ever scream for attention? Do they ever say, please buy me, I swear I'm worth it? No. They sit there, confident, knowing that the right person will come admire and willingly pay the price without hesitation. Meanwhile, outside on the street, you'll see vendors yelling, discounting, begging, trying to make a sale. Which one do you want to be? The luxury that men respect and work for? Or the discounted item that anyone can grab and throw away when they're bored? A queen never lowers her price just because someone can't afford her. Read that again. A man who truly values you will never put you in a position where you have to beg for his time, his love, his loyalty. He will never make you feel like you have to compete for his attention. Queens don't audition. They don't compete with other women. They don't prove themselves. They just are. And that alone is enough to command respect. Now let's talk about that girl who gives and gives, hoping he'll see her worth. She does everything for him. She cancels her plans. She's always available. She forgives too quickly. She overcompensates. She thinks, maybe if I do this, he'll love me more. Maybe if I act like the perfect girlfriend, he won't leave. And yet he does. Or worse, he stays but never really values her. Why? Because desperation is unattractive. Because people don't value what they get too easily. Because when you treat yourself like you're disposable, he will too. Let's flip the script. Have you ever noticed how men chase women who don't chase them? How the girl who is mysterious, independent, and unbothered seems to have men wrapped around her finger? It's not about playing games. It's about energy. When you act like you need him, you're giving off the energy of lack, of insecurity, of fear. But when you walk with the confidence that says, I know my worth, I know what I bring to the table, I don't need to chase, I attract, everything changes. The right man will step up, and the wrong one will step out of the way. Think of the most powerful women in history. Cleopatra, Marilyn Monroe, Princess Diana. None of them begged for love. They were adored, pursued, respected. Why? Because they carried themselves like queens. They didn't settle for breadcrumbs. They didn't waste time crying over men who couldn't meet them at their level. They walked away, they moved forward, and the world chased after them. So tell me, why are you sitting there waiting for a text that may never come? Why are you crying over someone who doesn't even think twice about you? Why are you putting yourself in a position where you have to beg for the bare minimum? Love is not supposed to feel like a job interview. It's not supposed to feel like a constant fight for validation. It's supposed to flow. It's supposed to feel natural, reciprocated, undeniable. A man who loves you will make it clear. You won't have to guess. You won't have to beg. You won't have to lower yourself. And if you ever find yourself in a position where you're chasing, convincing, or settling, stop. Fix your crown. Remember who you are and let him go. A queen never runs after a man. She moves forward with grace, knowing that the right one will recognize her worth without being reminded. The most powerful thing a woman can do is walk away when she is no longer valued. Not beg, not explain, not cry, just walk. There is a certain kind of magic in knowing when to leave, a silent power that shakes a man to his core. The moment you master this, you stop being just another woman in his life. You become the one he will never forget. Most women stay too long. They hold on, waiting for a change, waiting for him to wake up and realize her worth. They suffer in silence, thinking, maybe if I love him more, he'll treat me better. Maybe if I stay, he'll finally see what he has. But the truth, the more you tolerate, the more he takes you for granted. The more you stay, the more he assumes you will never leave. And the moment a man believes you are afraid to walk away, he loses respect for you. Think about it. Have you ever seen a man truly value something he got too easily? No. He values what he had to work for, what he had to earn. When you become too available, too forgiving, too accepting of his excuses, he stops fearing your loss. He stops trying, and that is the beginning of your downfall. Look at the most confident women. They don't waste time on men who don't rise to their level. They don't beg for closure. They don't explain why they're leaving. They don't even announce it. They just walk gracefully, powerfully, and without looking back. And the men who once thought they could treat her like an option, they feel that loss like an earthquake. Imagine this. You're at a luxury store, let's say a high-end fashion brand. You see a bag you love, but the price is high. You think, maybe if I wait, it will go on sale. But it doesn't. In fact, one day you walk in and it's gone. Someone else who knew its worth bought it, and now you can never have it. That feeling, that regret, that's exactly what happens when a man realizes a high-value woman has walked out of his life. The problem is, most women don't leave long enough for a man to feel their absence. They leave, but then they answer his calls. They leave, but then they text back. They leave, but they check his social media. Waiting, hoping, hurting. That is not walking away. That is waiting at the door, hoping he pulls you back in. A real queen does not wait at doors that have already closed. She moves forward. She elevates. She lets a man feel the cold emptiness of her absence. And trust me, when a man is used to you always being there, when he is used to your love, your kindness, your energy, your loyalty, your absence will hit him like a storm. Now let's talk about that woman who keeps going back. The one who knows she deserves better but keeps giving him one more chance. She forgives the late replies, the mixed signals, the disrespect, the broken promises. She tells herself, he's just busy, he'll change, he didn't mean it. And every time she goes back, she loses a little more of herself. She stops looking in the mirror with confidence. She stops feeling powerful. She stops being the woman she once was. The woman he once fell for. Why? Because she gave up her power. She forgot the rule that every high-value woman lives by. If a man does not meet your standards, walk. The strongest statement you will ever make is walking away without a word. No argument, no explanation, no drama, just silence. Silence is the most powerful response you can give to a man who took you for granted. Because in that silence, he has to sit with his own thoughts. He has to question himself. He has to wonder why you, the woman who once gave him everything, no longer cares. That silence will scream louder than any words you could ever say. Picture this. A woman loves a man deeply, but he plays games. He calls when he feels like it. He disappears when he's bored. He gives her just enough attention to keep her hoping. One day, she wakes up and realizes she is tired. She does not announce it. She does not cry. She simply removes herself from his life. She changes her number. She blocks him everywhere. She vanishes. Days pass. He doesn't notice at first. He thinks she will come back like always, but then reality hits. She's not there. She's not waiting. She's not reachable. And suddenly he feels the weight of her absence like a chain around his neck. He realizes that the woman he treated like an option is now someone he can never have again. And in that moment he knows he lost a queen. A woman who can walk away is the most dangerous woman in the world. She cannot be manipulated, she cannot be controlled, she cannot be played. Because she knows her worth is not determined by a man's love. She is the prize. She is the diamond. And if he does not see that, she will find someone who does. Think about it. Have you ever lost something and only realized its importance when it was gone? Maybe it was an opportunity you took for granted, a friend you never truly valued, a routine you never appreciated until it changed. Human nature is wired this way. We don't recognize the depth of what we have until we are forced to live without it. And when you remove yourself from someone's life, you force them to see the difference between what they had with you and what life feels like without you. A woman's presence is not just about physical beauty or companionship. It's about the warmth, the energy, the unwavering support. The way she listens, the way she cares, the way she makes life easier without ever demanding credit. It's the small things. Remembering his favorite food, checking in when he's had a bad day, understanding his silences, believing in him when he doubted himself. These are the things men don't realize they rely on until they are gone. But here's the catch. Not every man will admit it. Some will act unbothered. Some will distract themselves. Some will pretend to move on as if nothing happened. But deep down, in the quiet moments, in the spaces where your presence used to exist, they will feel the emptiness. They will recognize that something is missing. Something they once had but never truly valued. And that is when the realization hits the hardest. Have you ever seen a man who lost a good woman? Watch him closely. He may seem fine at first. He may act like he doesn't care. But give it time, weeks, months. One day, something will trigger a memory. Maybe it's a song playing in the background, a scent that reminds him of you, a familiar phrase you used to say. And suddenly he feels it, that deep, undeniable void. That is the moment he understands. That is the moment he realizes you are not just another woman, you were the one he should have cherished. But by then you have moved on. And that is the beauty of it. The power is not in making him regret. It is in knowing that you never had to convince him of your worth. You never had to